Good morning and welcome to ACLE Activating episode 4. With only 24 days left till ACLE, everyone is getting excited and getting ready for a great event. And this morning I'd like to welcome Geoffrey Butler. Welcome, Geoffrey.
Thanks, mate. It's nice to be here.
Yeah, great to have you. Now, Geoffrey is from Prince of Peace Lutheran College, and Geoffrey is the coordinator of a fantastic room and experience that's going to be at ACLE, and it's the reflection room. And Geoffrey, a lot of work's gone into this. Could you spend a moment telling us all about what's happening in the reflection room at ACLE?
I'll do that. The room is set up as a series of booths around the perimeter with a series of artworks by some fairly significant artists. One is Geraldine Wheeler, who's been to Assisi and has done a series on St. Francis, the Canticle of the Creatures. One is by Professor Lindsay Farrell, who has actually walked the Camino Way.
Wow.
And done a series of paintings on the Camino Way.
On the Camino Way.
But there's 6 artists, 1 musician, a personal prayer booth and a companion's prayer booth. So if you'd like to sit and talk with somebody, then you can come. But it's basically about finding a place where you can just sit and reflect and do some contemplative stuff.
That's wonderful. And before we have a look at those photos, and come in a little bit, Geoffrey, you're falling off the camera there. Before we have a look at some of those pieces of artwork, some of the other things happening in the reflection room, there's going to be some special workshops happening in the reflection room, and it's going to be fairly continuous, isn't it?
Yes, each day there's a couple of seminars or worship sessions in the reflection room. Jenny Wakeling, who is a past scholar of Grace Lutheran College and a very fine musician and composer, has done a lot of work in Taizé worship, and she's been to Taizé a couple of times quite recently, and she is going to do Taizé worship on each day.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's wonderful.
That's one of them. And
there's a range of other...
Yes, the range of other things. There's one session on professional leaders and their need for reflective practices like professional supervision or spiritual direction and so on. A number of contemplative sessions. How can you use contemplative practices to help you in the battle to be a good teacher and a good educator?
So this room, Geoffrey, could be a place to go during some of the breaks, before and after. I choose to do it during some of the actual formal program, to wander in there. It's a bit of quiet time, a lot of inspiration, a lot of learning.
Yes, yes. Each of the booths will actually have a booklet outlining some reflections on each of the artworks, so that and the prayer booth will have a number of different forms of prayer that people can use. So it's set up to be that kind of heart renewal space.
And I know that that booklet and devotional resources are being actually sent out today to the schools. It's also going to be able to be accessed via the My ACLE app. If you haven't got that app, download it now. 700 people have. So if you haven't downloaded already, the My ACLE app onto your iPad or iPhone. And also on the website too, in the resources. So it's a wonderful, wonderful resource. Let's have a look at some of the artwork as we bring them up here. And this one in particular, Geoffrey.
Let's see as it comes up.
Looking
for it.
The next bit of artwork. There's a beautiful scenery shot, and this next bit here.
This next piece was given to somebody's father-in-law who'd been a Christian for many years, and it is an illustration of that ancient knight fighting the battle against the wolf, which represents evil. But all those swirls represent the presence of God surrounding this knight in his battle, and so he's really not safe until he gets to his final sanctuary. So each of the artworks, and there's probably about 60 artworks, has that kind of depth in it.
Yep, and another one. I like this piece. It's bright. Tell us a little bit about this piece of artwork and who the artist is. Do you know who the artist is?
Yes, this is Kerry Holland. Kerry Holland is an abstract artist, but in this one, which is quite a huge work, it's about 3 meters long, she talks about the Good Neighbour and the Good Samaritan story, and talks about the graffiti artist as the unacceptable and contemptuous person in our thinking, and how that's our neighbour, unusual, different, and it obliges us to think quite laterally about who our neighbour might be and how can we accommodate and break down the walls and barriers between us and them.
Wow, that's powerful stuff. Another piece of artwork here.
This one is from Lindsay Farrell, who walked the Camino Way. He's a professor at the Catholic University. I worked with Lindsay when he was at St Peter's Lutheran College back in 1974 or thereabouts. And as he walked, he would come across these stations on the way, almost like milestones, and people had left various bits and pieces of paraphernalia and stones and so on top. And there was an accumulation of stuff there, but there was also different environments. And he said, every person is a story, and as you walk the journey, God comes to you in that story, God comes to you in that journey, and he's written or produced these artworks about people's stories, and he's made it rather like the Stations of the Cross.
Wow.
And there's a reflection for each one of those, and they're quite beautiful works.
That's wonderful, Geoffrey. And this is a very small snippet
Yes.
of the artworks that are going to be on display there. And obviously they're going to look probably bigger and more colourful and greater depth than what our viewers can see today. But that's a bit of a taste of what you'll see in the reflection room. And I'm looking forward to seeing the reflection room. I know a lot of work is involved in that. A lot of people are involved in that room. And for those, even though we haven't published the actual room names yet, we can give you a little hint. That's going to be in
P1.
P1. So if you remember a room, remember P1, wander in there. You'll probably see Geoffrey in there.
That's right.
And a beautiful setting in there. There'll be beautiful music, beautiful art, and a lovely little retreat if you need to go for a couple of minutes or more and spend some time in there for that retreat and renewal while you're at the ACLE conference. And, you know, there's going to be a few more communiques between now and in 24 days when ACLE starts. A few little reminders: download the ACLE app, follow what's happening on the website, join the Facebook, have a look at the wonderful 90 videos that are up there from a number of presenters, look at some of the resources that have been put up there. Wonderful, wonderful time to celebrate Lutheran education. And thank you, Geoffrey, for celebrating it with us, for your contribution to ACLE so far, and a lot more to come, I'm sure. And we look forward to seeing you in the reflection room at ACLE.
Great pleasure.
Thank you, Geoffrey, and thank you for viewing today on ACLE Activating Episode 4. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.